My Little Pony is definitely one of the most amazing and fun animations in the world.
I've always kind of wondered what it would be like to be a griffin. Not a chance.
But have you noticed that even the colorful ponies have drawing and continuity mistakes? There are even plot holes, which happen when the story makes no sense. One of the biggest mistakes that still leaves fans in disbelief today happens in the 2017 movie, and the hole is so big that it ruins the entire plot of the film. In the movie, the ponies of Equestria are preparing for the Friendship Festival, which is supervised by Princess Twilight Sparkle, since she's the representative of friendship. Twilight has a lot of responsibility in this movie and even asked the other Alicorns, Celestia, Luna, and Cadence, to use their magic to improve the festival, but they refuse, saying that the new princess of Equestria has all the power necessary to create the best friendship event ever. The festival starts off well, but Canterlot is invaded by storm monsters under the command of King Storm. The attack is led by the unicorn Tempest Shadow, who is a sort of commander of the villain's army. Tempest Shadow uses some black crystal balls to petrify the princesses, which is kind of similar to when King Sombra petrified Princess Mori. This part is actually pretty scary because it's the perfect chance to eliminate Celestia and Luna, but what the villain really wants is to collect the Alicorns to steal their power. The big mistake of the movie starts here. It's fine that the Friendship Festival is interrupted by King Storm, but Celestia, before being petrified, asks Luna to go to the kingdom of Sequestria to find the queen of the hippogriffs, named Novo. But Luna ends up petrified too, and the mission falls to Twilight. But wait, there are allies of the princesses who are way more qualified to handle this problem. And no matter how powerful the Hippogriff Queen might be, Discord, who commands chaos magic, could solve this in no time. It's pretty clear that the movie's idea was to introduce the sea ponies and maybe create a new line of toys, but perhaps they should have created a plot that wasn't so flawed, because there's no explanation for why Twilight went after Queen Novo instead of Discord. Regardless, the movie is still really cool and introduces some interesting concepts, like Tempest Shadow, who has a broken horn, and the hippogriffs of Sequestria. But it's important to remember that just because we point out mistakes doesn't mean the show is bad. You can already tell today's video is going to be thrilling, right? So grab your popcorn and get comfy on the couch, because here comes another episode of Cinewave. In the short film Starlight the Hypnotist, which is part of the series My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, we're introduced to Starlight Glimmer as the protagonist, where she uses her hypnotism skills to obviously cause a huge mess. In the middle of this short, we find out that Twilight has always been scared of ladybugs because a swarm once invaded the house she lived in, and Shining Armor said that the black dots on the shells of those bugs were extra monstrous eyes. And this is where you freak out because we've all seen Sparkle interact with this insect just fine in several episodes of the series, meaning her fear came out of nowhere and was never explained. To make it worse, Cadence even sings songs about ladybugs to the Princess of Friendship, and if we remember that Cadence used to babysit Twilight when she was a child, the probable queen of the Crystal Empire must know about this Alicorn trauma. So it's pretty creepy that Cadence would sing a song about Sparkle's biggest fear. Either it's a huge plot hole, or it was purposely written to scare and shock fans, and we all know that My Little Pony isn't a psychological horror story. One of the most important things in the My Little Pony universe are the cutie marks. They represent the personalities of the magical ponies, and most of them have one. In the Ponyville Talent Show episode, Twist is shown without a cutie mark, even though she's had one since her very first appearance. Twist's mark is just two candy canes forming a heart, but in the talent show episode, the animators just forgot to draw her cutie mark. Speaking of cutie marks, Generation 5 changed something about the design that still doesn't make much sense. We've always known that ponies have two cutie marks on the back of their bodies, one on the right side and one on the left. But in the new generation, that's changed, and there's been no explanation. One example is Rainbow Dash, where we can see her cutie mark, a rainbow, on both sides, and all the ponies from Generation 4 follow the same pattern. But in Generation 5, the characters are different. And if you have a cutie mark that represents you, comment with #mark so we can know. Another cutie mark mistake is in the My Little Pony toys compared to the animation. If you pay attention to Cherry Lee, you'll see that her cutie mark is 3 flowers, but her toy version shows her mark is just 1 flower. Let's face it, for a franchise that relies on animation to sell collectible toys, this kind of mistake shouldn't happen. Maybe the production team should take a closer look. Another animation mistake with Cherry Lee is that her tail suddenly changes completely. At one point, it's all pink, and then it changes to a lighter streak in the center. In The Cure of the Magic Mystery, when Sparkle gets her wings and becomes an alicorn, at the end of the episode she can fly without any problems, almost as if she knew how to do it since she was born. But in the very next episodes, she's unable to fly and needs Rainbow Dash's help to learn how to control her wings, which doesn't make any sense at all. Another continuity mistake happens in the story when Sparkle explains how she got her cutie mark. In this episode, two of Twilight's friends are shown as adults while our Princess of Friendship is still a child. But in the episode Amending Fences, Sparkle travels to her hometown of Canterlot to reunite with her friends. And when they see each other, they recall the old days when they were all kids. Could it be that Moondancer and Lemonheart are princesses of time and space, which lets them stay young? Or did the animators just forget to draw them at the right age? Golden Delicious must be a pretty common name in the My Little Pony universe because there are several characters with this name. Maybe you could argue that you know a lot of people with the same name, and sure, in our world, this coincidence is normal. But in fiction, this can make things a little confusing for us. The mistake starts with the Pony Toys, where multiple Golden Delicious figures are sold as action figures, but then other characters with this same name appear in the show. Did the writers forget? The mistake with this name choice is so obvious that if you search the internet for Golden Delicious My Little Pony, more than one Equestria pony will pop up, and they're all correct. There's a background character in My Little Pony that the audience nicknamed Princess Aeria as a play on words for Princess Error. This is because she's a pony without a name, but every time she appears, she's different. She's been shown as a unicorn, a pegasus, and even an alicorn. We don't know if it's on purpose to make the fans laugh because this mistake happens several times in the animation, and it's quite funny. Princess Aeria is much more of a meme nowadays than a relevant character in the series, but the production could definitely embrace the joke and give her a special appearance. Plenty of franchises have done this, and it turned out great. And to make sure you don't miss anything, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated. It's more than clear to My Little Pony fans that Twilight Sparkle can teleport. This is a very useful magic ability, so much so that when people are asked what superpower they'd like to have, teleportation often comes up. But for some reason, our Princess of Friendship doesn't use this power as often as she should. And yes, that's a mistake, because several problems could be avoided if she just remembered that she can disappear and reappear in other places. For example, when she had to keep chasing Flurry Heart around. In that case, we can cut her some slack since they were playing, but this plot hole also shows up in more serious situations like battles. I think the writers heard the fans' complaints because Sparkle started using this power more often, but still, when you have this ability, it's important to know how to manage it so it doesn't become a hole in the story. In the episode Family Appreciation Day, Granny Smith tells the story of how she arrived in Ponyville. At one point, she mentions that Princess Celestia stopped by to see her father's seed collection, and in that episode, we see Granny's father. He's an Earth pony with a cutie mark of a walnut, and so far so good. But in the episode Leap of Faith, Granny Smith's father appears as if he's still young, even though Granny is already very old. And the worst part is that he shows up right in front of her and there's no interaction between them, which is really strange. One theory might be that Granny doesn't remember her parents' faces anymore because she's so old, and in the story she told, she just imagined a pony she already saw often, but that's unlikely. It's true that some ponies stay young for hundreds of years, like Celestia, but a regular horse like Granny Smith's father wouldn't have that power. This next mistake is probably something Pinkie Pie said in the Sonic Rain Boom episode, where she explains that she's never even seen one of those before. Basically, a Sonic Rain Boom happens when a Pegasus, like Rainbow Dash, flies so fast that she creates a glowing trail of speed in the sky. But it doesn't make sense for Pinkie Pie to say that because that's exactly how she got her cutie mark, by seeing a Sonic Rain Boom. It's possible to say that the writers had one thing in mind, then thought of something else, but if Pinkie Pie's cutie mark story involves a super powerful rainbow streak in the sky, they really should have paid more attention. Remember that these mistakes don't make the show bad. Some are funny and others are frustrating. But My Little Pony is still amazing and will always be in our hearts. We've got 2 more videos for you to enjoy. Just pick one and click on it. Cool? See you in the next video!